Okay, it's 8:49 a.m. in the morning, this Sunday morning, and I've driven 95.6 miles and parked up outside the Craven Heifer. Now I'm going to go back out the village and cross over the main road and head up the hill to Dogbrow Hill and then drop down to see STAINFORTH FORCE waterfall. I've just set up my time lapse as usual, and then when I come back I'll be crossing over the bridge, then going through that skinny gap between the wall and that gate, then following the path along the river, and then come out of the square to the top right hand side there, and then you just take a little skinny farmer's track up to Catterick Force waterfall. So that's what I'm going to be doing after I come back from STAINFORTH FORCE waterfall first. Right, so I've put my glasses on just to make sure that I put the right setting on the camera for to record in video, instead of doing a mistake I made when somehow the camera just went into time warp instead of recording video. So I've made sure it's on video this time before I started recording. So now I can turn the car off, because it'll the time lapse will just record off its own battery for 10 minutes. Right, so I'll get on with my journey. Right, look, oh the door I must have left the door open. Well, I went into right, unlock. Right, lock it. For some reason or other, that's not locking. Just make sure all the doors and the camera looks too high. Just opening up all the doors and shutting them again and see if it'll lock. I don't think it's the battery playing up. Right, look, that's better. Must have just been seeing one of the catches. So right, just trying to adjust the camera a little bit better. Right,
we're going out to the main road and across here.
Morning.
Yeah.
Right, so when I come back from STAINFORTH waterfall, I'll be coming back into the village, run the corner here, and then start following that little footpath. It takes you around the right through the square, then you just keep right and start going up the hill, and it takes you onto a farmer's track. Then you start going right up the top of the track, and then the Catterick Force waterfall, the gate where you go through on the left hand side comes up right at the top. Right, so that's it. Time lapse set away, car locked, but outside the Craven Heifer. Right, I'm going to go back to this car park as well where I came in off the main road and have a look at the notice boards again, because I think that's absolutely ridiculous. You shouldn't have to pay, because you've already paid £10 for your blue badge anyway, which counteracts any parking space, whether it's got a yellow box thingy anyway. So if you go into a car parking like in a shop, your blue badge counteracts all the other ones, and you can park in more spaces. Right, so that's where I've come along, Horton in Ribblesdale. So that's where I've come from, 3.5 miles to this village of STAINFORTH. But the little car park I pulled into was just here on the left, where those camper vans are. So I'll have a quick look in while I'm here, and then I'm going across to the main road there, cross over and go up the hill past the old railway station house. Then you turn left after that and drop down. So how I got here, people, is I came down the same way I always come down to the A684 and Hawes area. So that's via Kirkby, Stephen, Nateby, drop down to the Moorcock Inn pub on the A684. Then I turned left and started coming along towards Hawes. But when I got to the opposite bridges, that's where you bear right and go over the 2 stone bridges. Then as soon as I get over the second bridge, that's where I take my little shortcut onto Lanarkar Lane, which takes you around S Bends and it takes you past a bed and breakfast place. Right, so this is where I parked my car in the disabled bays here. I reversed into the one nearest to the parking machine here. But this is where I got angry when I seen this friggin' post here, look. Blue badge holders, standard charge apply. Fuck you, because I've just paid £10 for to get a blue badge in the first place. Right, me camera's just switched off and I haven't even really started my journey. I'm just having a whinge and a moan about this blue badge holders only, standard charges. Right, let's have a look at the standard charges. Pay and display. Daily tickets up to 2 hours, £3.80. Over 2 hours, £6. You know, the councils are all looking to rip people off for money, and that's all this is. I mean, it's a disabled badge bay, and they're trying to charge badge holders a standard charge, which is ridiculous. So Stainforth Council, pull your finger out your arse. Freaking ridiculous. Right, so I'm gonna go to the main road again where I've just drove along from Horton and Ribblesdale, and then followed the A6479, which you can see on those. So if we continue along the road instead of turning into here, it takes you to Langcliffe, Settle, and I think Orncliffe's down there now, something like that. But I cross over here and walk up past the old station house there, because the railway line's just about that wall. In fact, I think I'll stay on this side for now, and I'll point my camera down to where the church is, because the church is absolutely beautiful. If I can get a good shot of it. Well, there's the steeple of it anyway, the clock. But the wall and the windows looks absolutely stunning. Fantastic. Right, so where that blue sign is up ahead, that's where Dogbrow Hill Lane goes. It's a very, very skinny lane. I wouldn't recommend going down in any car, especially if you're towing a caravan. It's just not for that. You'll get stuck or scrape all your vehicle right down the side. It's that thin. Right, so that's the lane that you can take to go down to the church. But there's the church, and you can see the gravestones in the ground. And there's the clock chiming. Right, so the only good thing about it raining is, like I say, the waterfalls will be running more substantially. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not 5 o'clock. Right, so this is the village of Stainforth, and that must be the old railway cottage houses to do with railway. Right, so there's the church. Now you can go down that lane, but it's just so skinny, it's just a one way. So if a car started coming up the other way, there's nowhere to go. It's only wide enough for one vehicle at a time. So that's why I go down the next one and go past all the car parks and then round the corner and park up at the pub. But it's weight limit 1.8 meters wide. Sorry, 1.8 is 6 foot. It's very, very thin, so it's not advisable to try and drive a vehicle down there, because when you get to the bottom and you've got to bend around the right to go over the skinny bridge, it's just like a concrete stone bridge. But there's like a better view of the church itself. And as you can see in here, this is a very, very, very busy road. This is 60479 going down towards Settle and Landcliffe. Right, so that's the way I've just come. I turned left at the Ribblehead Viaduct onto Gorba Road. I came along Gorba Road through Horton in Ribblesdale, then just continued along the road. Then I got to that junction where it bends out the left, and I stopped and put the signpost on video while I stopped a little lay-by. What's saying there, Night Stainforth Hall, the Knight's Table, 4 miles. It's a caravan site, I think. I came along here with Jimmy and Corn when he was still alive. Yeah, so there's all the signs warning you. It's only 6 foot wide and it's unsuitable for caravans. But you'll see as we get further down round the corner, it's really, really thin. Do not follow your sat nav, because it'll, it'll take you around the sharp bends. Right, so I'm just getting fine drizzle at the moment, but I've put my thin waterproof jacket on, and there's your railway. So if I cross straight over the road and went through that gate where that man came running out of it, it takes you over the bridge, and then there's a pathway that brings you along here on the inside, so you can miss walking up the main road if you want to, away from the noise and traffic. Especially if you've got a dog, you could just bring them along the pathway here. Pennine Bridleway, Little Stainforth, a third of a mile. And Stainforth, where I've just walked from, is a quarter of a mile back down that bank. But that's a walkway and walk along with the dog to keep them away from the main road. If you've got a nervous dog that just like the sound of traffic, you can walk along the inside of here. Right, down this steep bank and round to the left and get over to the Stainforth Force waterfall bridge. It's a big stone arch bridge that goes over the river, and then you cross over and your turnstile to walk through to go along to the water is on your left as you get down to the bottom. So it's been quite an easy drive down here, because obviously I set off early in the morning on a Sunday and there's hardly any traffic, so it wasn't too bad. But there's something about the 6255, I hate driving along it. It's full of bends and people are screaming up behind you trying to push you along, and if you're not going fast enough for them, they're sort of like trying to push you along, and then when the motorbikes start coming up and just whiz past you, you shit yourself when they go past your windows, especially if they're open. Right, so I've got a little bit shelter from the rain at the moment underneath these trees, but you can hear the river straight ahead down me right. And I'll show you where the people that climb up the cliffs and jump into the waterfall area where they get up, when they get to the bottom of here, they go along the pathway from just before you go on the bridge. I don't know if it's all barbed wired up now, but you can see how thin this lane is. Okay, my camera's just beeped off again, so I don't know what the hell's going on with this bloody camera. I'm not impressed. It's a GoPro 13, and I thought it was down to overheating and either battery problems or something, but it's not. It's just it's a camera itself, it's shite. Right. So I've taken the camera out and turned it off and put it back in. Have you got the right time, please?
Time?
Have you got a mobile?
No, I haven't.
All right, okay, that's no problem.
No,
You want to come and say hello? There. Yeah, can you smell my dog? Yeah. Oh, yeah, come on. Typical dog walker, carrying a bag of shite, tied in a knot. So she'll have to try and find, she'll be carrying that all hour with that, or try and find a non-existent dog poop bin. But there you can see the water is running quite fast because we're getting the rain, so it's picked up speed as it's coming along here. And this goes all the way down towards Settle. I mean, this river, the Ribble, is quite a distance. It goes all the way down. In fact, there's a designated swimming area where all the wild swimmers come and go in for a swim. Just past where the waterfalls are, you just walk a little bit further on. There's like a little sheep's trail takes you down to the water's edge, and they'll start launching themselves into there. Now, the wire fence is missing from here, so that's where the people have gone along there to get to the cliffs on the far side to jump in. Have you got the right time, please?
I have indeed. 9:09.
Thank you very much. Manchester Anglers Private Fishing, members only. So that's where the people walk along to get to the cliffs where they jump in to the waterfall. Or they probably just jump in first, swim across, and then climb up the rocks on the other side. Right, so you just cross over the bridge here, and then you can see the pathway over there going off to the left. But we'll turn my camera in the both directions and show you the River Ribble. That's R-I-B-B-L-E, Ribble. River Ribble. Coming in both directions. So where you see all that choppy white water, that's where the start of the waterfalls are, just there.